Okay, there we go. Hi, Hunter. My name's Madison. I'm a therapist with the University of Louisville. I'm going to be helping you today. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. Before we get started, I just wanted to touch on if you knew anything about privacy and confidentiality and stuff like that, just to make sure you understood what goes on here and what stays between us and what doesn't.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to begin to tell me a little bit about what the issue or memory is that you would like to work on today?
Sure. So recently, I was in a really bad car accident, and I was injured along with the people in my car, and it was pretty bad. And so now every time I get in the car to go somewhere, I just panic, I guess, or like I just freak out and can't control myself, and I feel really overwhelmed and stressed out. Just thinking about the car, like being in the car, like I'll just start crying and I just feel like I can't do it anymore, and it makes me feel like I have to stay at home, and now I feel like I'm scared to go out in public anymore. So just trying to get over just the fear of being in the car again after that.
So with that being said, when you're thinking about that incident and the car wreck and everything that happened, that's led to you feeling that way, what if you could put a picture to it, what picture would best represent the worst part of that incident to you right now?
Picture. I think just seeing like the wreck itself and like picturing like basically like a standstill of the moment it happened is probably the scariest thing.
Um, so when you think about being in the were you driving?
I was not driving. I was a passenger.
So, with that being said, and all the thoughts and like feelings you're having, in those moments of panic, what are you thinking? Because when we're panicking, we don't tend to think deeper about why we're feeling that way. Obviously, because of the wreck is why you're feeling that way. But what are you feeling about yourself or about the world in that moment? Um, that may lead to some of these feelings. Like, what are you feeling about yourself?
I think whenever like I'm just thinking about having to be in the car or even like driving in the car, I think that I'm scared that another wreck is going to happen and that I might even lose my life because it was so bad, or I just get stressed thinking about all the worst case scenarios to happen, since being in a wreck is the worst case scenario and it happened to me. It's kind of scary to think that you could trust that getting in the car again would be safe.
So it's a feeling of unsafe, of not being safe, like in the world, like
Yeah.
okay. So what words go best with the picture of the wreck that would express that negative belief about yourself? If you could apply just a couple words to it.
um hmm the picture, I'd probably say like um just devastation, like and then like loss. Yeah, so I think those two would be good.
So that would be a negative thought. So we're gonna flip it and think about when you bring up that picture of the wreck, what would you like to believe about yourself or the situation now? So rather than believing um, I'm unsafe, I'm always gonna get in a car wreck, or there's gonna be another wreck. If it happened once, it could happen again. What would be something that you would like to believe instead?
Well, I know a lot of people after the wreck would say like, "Oh, just be grateful, you're still alive, and that you were able to walk away even though, you were in the hospital, and just be grateful and that cars can be replaced, and it's better to lose the car than lose, your own life or the people who or other people in the car, and um, that be thankful my injuries healed and I'm healthy and back to normal now. So maybe just like when I see the picture, just like saying, I survived that and I'm okay now. And that, and looking at how bad it was, but also like being grateful that I was able to walk away from it.
So, as we bring up the picture of the accident, the devastation, um, how true does that statement of feeling like I'm alive, I'm okay, I'm safe, feel to you now on a scale of 1 to 7, where 1 feels completely false and 7 feels completely true? If
Mm,
you're picturing that wreck right now and having to think, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the crumpled car and the feelings, that the negative feelings, but thinking also I'm alive, I'm okay. It was a freak accident, a 1 in a million thing. Like, just because it happened once doesn't mean it'll happen again. How true do those feelings feel on a scale of 1 to 7?
I'd say maybe like a 3.5 to 4.
When you bring up that picture of the wreck and the devastation and loss, what do you feel now?
Mm,
Using the positive that we've talked about, like to try and replace it, what do you feel now?
I'd say maybe a 2.
Like what I mean, like what emotions?
Oh, I thought you were
Sorry for
talking
not
about the scale.
clarifying.
No, you're fine. Um, I think like looking at it like now with the, positive side, it just feels like relief now that I was able to be here after it. So I would say, yeah, that's probably the biggest emotion, is just relief.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where 0 is no disturbance or a neutral feeling, and 10 is the highest disturbance you can imagine, how disturbing does the wreck feel to you now?
Hmm, I'd say maybe a 6.
When you're in the event, thinking of the event, where do you feel it in your body?
I feel like maybe like in my chest, like I feel like my chest gets tight. And my hands, I feel like they start shaking, so I'm focusing a lot on my hands. So it's like kind of just like a rush through the my fingertips up to my hands into my arm, but mostly like my fingers and then my chest.
Um, so with feeling that, feeling the emotions and stuff, and that worry, so I'm assuming that as we're talking about, you're feeling that in those places now, is that when you're panicking? I'm assuming where it's ringing true, that chest pressure, tightness, stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, what I'm gonna teach you is it's a great technique for when you're getting in the car, thinking about getting in the car, back to baseline, to get you to think about the positive thoughts that we discussed about being here, being alive, everything's okay, I'm safe.
Mhm.
Um, it's kind of to bring you down. It's obviously not going to solve it, but it will help you in that immediate feeling of freezing or um fear of like, okay, well, I can't get in the car, I can't drive, I can't ride, I just can't. It's called the 5 4 3 2 1 grounding technique. And a lot of people use it when they're feeling triggered, overwhelmed, or it's extremely beneficial for those like anxiety moments. So the first thing you'll do is you're going to acknowledge 5 different things that you can see. This could be if you're in the car, obviously, or you're thinking about getting in the car, or you're remembering the wreck. Just wherever you are, it could be a tree, it could be a dog, it could be a bird, it could be a table. Personally, I think the more intricate, patterned, or detailed, the better, because it's more distracting to your mind. So like a hardwood floor, all the little like squiggles and stuff in the floor. The next is gonna be 4 things you can touch. So whether it be um your shirt, your bedspread, a dog, a couch, something prickly, something anything. Um so even a pillow, a desk, a phone, it's gonna all help in this step. The next is going to be 3 things you can hear, whether it be like if you're just focusing, even if you close your eyes and you're in the house, I mean, you'll be able to hear the hum of the AC unit or the heater, maybe TV in the background, birds outside. The next would be smell. 2 things you can smell. You're going to acknowledge 2 things around you that you can smell, whether it be like your detergent, your clothing softener, food, something even unpleasant, sadly, because obviously sometimes we're around unpleasant smells. And then lastly, one thing you can taste. Some people carry gum, mints, candy, stuff like that. If you're in the position to do that, and have that, then that's great. If you're in a position to eat, drink something that you can taste to help with the sensations. Our sensations play a large role in like our mindset and how we experience things. So being able to bring those senses as a distraction is really helpful. I'm gonna email you this little 5 4 3 2 1 thing for you to kind of look at and reference just in case you want to reference it in the future. Does that sound like something that would like be helpful for you to try?
Yeah, I think I could try that.
So next time we meet, we'll talk about some of these grounding, how the grounding technique helped you, if it did at any time. If you want to just keep like a log of the days and like frequency or times that you experience the panic, that way we can kind of revisit it next week and how many times you had to work on it and how many times it helped or didn't help.
Okay.
Alrighty. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Alrighty. We'll get you scheduled for next week. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.